Sheila Jordan, thank you for joining us for happy hour. I think it's not too early to start drinking.
Well, I don't drink, actually. The reason that I have to leave early is I have to go to my AA meeting.
Wow. That, well, you've just basically set Janis and I straight then.
Not quite, but
You have a problem. You probably don't, you don't have a problem like I had. I had a terrible problem with alcohol. You know, it
so
runs
this,
in my family, so my
yeah,
mother died from it, you know.
I think we talked about this once.
I'm sure we did.
Can you give us any other secrets to longevity in this business? Do you have a regime or a secret things that you do before a show or?
No. No, I'm just, you know. Look at you. You look so gorgeous. You should talk. My God.
No, you know, the reason why we do these shows, Sheila, is so that we'll actually take a shower and put on some lipstick for every once in a while.
That's right.
But I don't know how the pandemic has been treating you, but there's been a certain, you know, both Janis and I know for you as well, you've been, you know, a touring musician your whole life.
Yeah.
And what an interesting time that we find ourselves in, where we're all just home. And how are you finding that in terms of that affecting your life, and how do you miss being on the road? Are you kind of like, no, I love this? I mean, where are you?
No, I miss being on the road. I miss the travel, and I had to put a big tour on hold, and a big tour of Italy and Spain, and then also Japan, and then also a tour with Cameron. So between, you know, going to these countries and working with these incredible young musicians, and then the Cameron, I mean, I've had to put everything on hold. So, you know, I just sleep a lot. It's like I'm sleeping constantly. That's all I do is sleep. Weird.
Well, it's restorative. I mean, your body goes to rest, and it does. That's actually when we do all of our healing is in our sleep. So honestly, that's probably a good thing.
And you're sort of going between the city and New Paltz, right?
Yes. Well, not New Paltz. I'm in the city, but my house, Jay's in New Paltz. I park my car there, and I take the bus from her town back to Manhattan, and I park my car at her place. But I actually live about another hour and almost close to another hour and a half from her. So I drive up from New Paltz to Hunter's Land. I'm up on a mountain. My neighbors are wild animals. That's it.
That's what it
awesome. Is. That's what it is. It's that clean oxygen, that high altitude that keeps you young. That's the wellspring.
Maybe that, my native background, you know, my fourth generation grandmother was Queen Aliquippa of the Seneca Nation. So that goes way back.
Wow.
I'll say. Before Columbus, you know, I don't celebrate Columbus Day. I never did. I mean, my family never did. My grandfather didn't celebrate it.
Well, I would imagine you probably, in a way, didn't celebrate Thanksgiving then either, for that matter.
Not really, no.
You know, I think you hear more about that. Interestingly enough, I was in the grocery store yesterday, madly grabbing things, and one lady was in line, and then they were friends, and she said, "Oh, hi, happy Thanksgiving," and she said, "Well, actually, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, but happy Thanksgiving to you." And you know, it was that that bump in the air that you could feel, you know, just that pause where we're all just, there's this heightened level of understanding that everybody celebrates different things, and also people don't celebrate these traditions because it actually really speaks to, what was taken away or all of those years. So it's very interesting in that moment. Normally you don't hear that. And I find that it's in the ethos now, reparations and being mindful of our indigenous people and being mindful of our of color communities and our, just being mindful and thinking about moving forward.
I think, but
Oh,
the whole,
go ahead,
go
Jen.
ahead, go ahead.
I was just going to say that my four-generation grandmother was Queen Aliquippa of the Seneca Nation. So on my grandfather's side, I'm Seneca. And actually, I don't celebrate Columbus Day because I feel that he murdered my ancestors. He stole their land. And why would I celebrate him? Why would I celebrate him? I mean, I don't know.
I think people at this time are thinking more about the meaning of these holidays, the real meaning of these holidays. And so some people are not celebrating.
Well, my daughter, she's, as a kid, like in school, she's not going to go to school and say, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Right.
But,
well, they don't teach us the real history of things in school, do they?
No, they don't. They never did,
Yeah.
Well, jumping to history, though, you do teach the history of Charlie Parker, and you continue to pass that lineage on to our children, and frankly, to us as well. And maybe you want to share a few stories, if you want, about just what that was like, sort of. I don't know, being fortunate enough to be right in that creative energy.
He was my hero, and although I loved all the singers were wonderful, but I never had any money when I was a little kid, and when I high school, when I moved from Pennsylvania with my grandparents and moved to live with my mother. By that time, she was old enough to raise me, and when I was 14, I would take a nickel and put in the jukebox because I was singing all the time. My grandfather, in fact, called me Little Song because I was very unhappy. I had a very terrible childhood, and there wasn't food a lot of times, and it was not easy growing up. But I sang because it made me feel better. So my grandfather called me Little Song because I was constantly singing. I was so unhappy. But I know when I was I was always like learning new tunes, and there were great tunes in those. All these great composers like Gershwin and all these cats, Cole Porter, they were all on the scene then, they were coming up. These tunes were great. You could buy sheet music actually a book that had all the lyrics. And I was very quick to learn on the radio when we had a radio. We didn't always have a radio because if the bill wasn't paid, then the lights were cut off. But when we did, quickly learned these tunes. But I got this book that had all the lyrics of the tunes, and I was quick to learn, and I know that they were great tunes in those days. They were really incredible tunes, and I don't know. Charlie Parker, although the singers were great, like Billie Holiday. Okay, that's something very special.
Yeah.
But Sarah Vaughan, who has a voice, even to this day, who has a voice like Sarah Vaughan? Okay. Ella Fitzgerald, the greatest scat singer to me in the world ever, even in today's world. And, that was it. But my hero was Charlie Parker. I remember I was just thinking I have so many Charlie Parker stories, but I was just thinking today, I remembered something that happened a long time ago when, he was always taking me places, or I would come to his concerts. He met me when I was 14, for God's sake. He called me the kid with the $1 million ears because I sang with these two young guys in Detroit, which was hard at that time because they were African and I was white. And so Detroit is very prejudiced, still is even today. And I was constantly down at the police station for hanging out with my friends who were African. And I remember one of at high school, the principal called me to her office. She said, "You dress so nice. Why do you hang out with colored girls?" I said, "That's the principal." I said, "Colored? Colored? Pink?" Luke.
Oh, very good.
And she just looked at me, go on, get out.
Yeah.
Man, I got her, but I don't know where that came from. I mean, I'm not that brilliant that I would think of something like that, but it was like the universe was taking care of me. I mean,
that's right.
But Bird, I remember one time I don't remember where we were going, but we were going somewhere and he picked me up and I went to his gig and then I was going home from his gig and he said, no, you're not taking the subway. I'm going to take you back in a taxi. So we got in a taxi, and then when we got to my house, he tried to pay the cab driver with a check. What's your name, man? And the cab
Those were the days.
and the cab driver said, why? What do you want to know my name for? I don't think they had it up on the top there on the side like they do now. And he said, what do you want to know my name for? He said, well, I want to write you out a check. He said, a check? Oh, no, man. No, I ain't taking no check. I don't know you. No, I do not take a check. So then we had to go to this bar down the road from Bird's house. He was like right after the park. Well, actually, they just made that building a landscape or whatever you call it.
A landmark.
A landmark, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a landmark. So that's, and his apartment had put in wallpaper that had bird cages, but the birds were not in the cage. They were outside they were sitting on the cage. So they weren't caged in. It was beautiful. And I think and I asked the woman, I forgot her name. She was wonderful. And they named the street after Charlie Parker Place. And I sang at that festival. It was the first festival for Bird. And when it was over, she gave me a street sign.
Oh, wow.
Identical street sign of Charlie Parker. It's on my barn. I put it on my barn because I call my house Charlie Parker Place. His music paid for it. Had I not been singing his music, all the money I made, I saved and I bought this house up here,
Well, that's very smart.
He was my idol, still is. I can't talk enough about Bird. And a sweet man, brilliant.
Yeah. Those were different times in a way. The transference of knowledge was done on the bandstand and off stage, and it wasn't quite as collegiate as we dispense information now in the traditions. It was like, you either, like for you picked up tunes, you could hang, off you went. It was all about being able to hang, and I think that's sort of a bygone era in a way.
Yeah, and it's hard for women too. It's always been from the get-go because they always referred to us as especially women, the chick singers. We were the chick singers.
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, but certainly, were you ever referred to as a chick singer? I mean, you're such a musicianly.
Well, in the old day when I was first coming on the scene, but it didn't last very long. I mean, I think.
Yeah.
I sang with these two young cats in Detroit. It was before Lambert, Hendricks, and Ross. Of course, they were so much more polished than we were. But I think this one guy that I sang was Skeeter Spite, who I said they were two African guys. And they were singing Bird and Charlie.
So were you doing vocalese?
Yeah, and Bird came to town and did a concert at the Greystone Ballroom, and that was great because we could go because we couldn't get in the clubs at that time. We weren't old enough. But there was a club in Detroit downtown. I forgot what street it was. Oh, it's all the way downtown, but they didn't sell alcohol, so we could go there, and all the musicians went there. But I remember the Greystone Ballroom. Bird was coming to town. Man, we were thrilled. And so Billy Mitchell, who was a great saxophone player from Detroit, an older man, told Bird, he said, you got to hear these three kids sing. They sing your songs. So Bird, when he went back after his break, he called us up to sing. He said, I understand there's 3 young people in here that sing
Wow.
tunes. So he said, I'd like them to come up and sing. And we're looking around. What do that be, you know? Yeah, you three. When we were finished, I think we did either Barbados or maybe Confirmation. I'm not sure. Could have been even rhythm changes. And
did you sing solos as well?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I tried. I didn't sing along. Maybe like a chorus or a half a chorus to a chorus tops. But Skeeter was the one. Oh my God, he was the greatest scat singer I ever heard in my life.
That's saying something. What's his name again? Skeeter?
It was Skeeter Spite, Spight. But
Skeeter Spite.
Ulysses T. Spite. And then the other guy was Leroy Mitchell. He was the more intelligent one. But they took me in and said, okay, yeah, you can sing with us. And, but you gotta rehearse. We rehearse. I said, of course. And that was it. And I was with them for, oh my God. And then of course, we never thought about much else except, singing because we loved the music. But I remember Bird had us come up and sing. And afterwards he came over to me and he said, kid, you have $1 million ears. And I thought, he's talking to me. What does he mean, $1 million ears? What does that mean? Years later, well, not that many years later, but when my first boyfriend was Frank Foster. So when he went into the Army, I moved to New York to be closer to Bird's music because I had to be near Charlie Parker's music. And I went to Birdland. This woman who knew Bird well said, I'm going down to hear Bird. You want to come along? And I said, yeah, where are you going? She said, Birdland. I said, oh yeah, I'd love to. And I think at the time you only had to be 18 in New York to get into the clubs. So we went down and she went backstage during the break and Bird hugged her and kissed her. And then he looked over and he saw me and he said, I know you, you're the kid with the $1 million ears. Now we're talking quite a few years later, And we became very close then. I became close. Actually, I love Bird's music so much, I married his piano player.
Hell yeah.
Get close to Bird's music.
That's pretty close. Well, music is seductive. I mean, we all can attest to the fact that it is certainly, I would say, my lover, and has been my lover for my whole life, and an extension. I'm always falling in love with musicians because it's just what music does to me. It's kind of we see those love stories. It's just what happens to us. We become enraptured. But
absolutely.
It is.
So who else was coming up in Detroit when you were?
Me, Tom Flanagan, Barry Harris, and Kenny Burrell. They were.
Wow.
That's who I hung out with. Those were my buddies. Barry's still alive.
Yes.
Of course, they all loved Tommy. Everybody loved Tommy. Tommy was like.
Well, he's one of the greatest accompanists, for instance.
And he was actually one of the top players, but he was young. I mean, we're talking like teenagers. We're not talking,
And didn't he play on Giant Steps, by the way?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is when he was a kid, when we were all kids together. And so Tommy, everybody always looked at, and Hack Hanna, Roland Hanna, we called him Hack because he used to play and he used to get so involved he'd hit his head on the piano. And you hack yourself. So his nickname was Hack Hanna. So there was Roland Hanna, Tommy, Barry, Kenny Burrell, Skeeter Spite, Leroy Mitchell, me, and oh man, it was incredible.
What was it like?
And that was the name of the club where the kids hung out. It was owned by a white couple from Canada who were very cool. And it was called the Club Sudan, yes.
What was it like running your own band?
I didn't have my own band.
You didn't ever have your own, run your own like bandstand and your own gigs, or you were always with part of other groups?
Yeah, I was always like with other groups.
Okay.
I mean, I only began getting my own thing together in the last few years, you know, but no, I was always like, I was part of Steve Kuhn's group, quartet. And yeah, I mean, you know, it's only within the last few years.
That's
Uh-huh.
amazing. So we're gonna wrap up pretty soon because we gotta
go.
But you have to go. And but what do you look for in a song, Sheila, when you're looking for repertoire?
The melody.
The melody, not the words.
No.
Yeah.
Because,
Interesting.
yeah, I listen for the melody. If it's a good melody, if I really can hear the melody, then it turns me on. And then if the lyrics suck, I'll make up new ones.
You know what? You're the queen of that, though. I love when you do that. You also do that spontaneously in your improvisation, and I always love to see what's going to happen if whatever mood you're in, or maybe an audience member feeds you some little nugget of inspiration, and off you go.
Well, you guys were so great. I mean, when I was so honored to sing with you that time, I forgot where was that we
Sing Bar.
I think it was at Catano.
I don't remember. I thought it was downtown somewhere.
Yeah.
You talking about Vocalmania or
where?
Vocalmania, the thing.
Yeah, when you had me come and sing with you guys.
Yeah, I think that was Sing Bar probably. Yeah,
where?
and Sing Bar is on. Yeah, and let me take this opportunity to again invite you to participate in Vocal Gumbo next month, December.
I'd love
to. Maybe we'll do Barbados or something.
Why not?
Oh my God, that would be so much.
Do you have the music?
I have the lyrics too. I have John's lyrics.
No, you don't have mine, no.
No, I want yours. Definitely want yours.
Well, then do me a favor, Janis. Write me on email and send me your address and everything, and I'll get that out to you in another day or so.
You got it.
Okay.
That would be great.
You can make copies and see what's up.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
You can do Barbados or whatever you guys want.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
We're having so much fun collaborating with the people that we have our musical crushes on, and this is just a great way of doing it, and we would love if we could do something with you, and we're so grateful that you popped in to our little happy hour because we adore you, and because we especially wanted to say happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday
to you.
Thank you.
Ta-da-da.
Yeah, we adore you. You continue.
Oh Lord, I never thought I'd get to be this old. But anyway, it's been an honor to sing with you. Really an honor, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It's been a real honor to sing with you, and I look forward to us doing something together.
Yes.
Real soon.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
If you need me for anything, don't hesitate.
Oh, we're not going to hesitate. We're coming. We're coming for you, girl.
Your bedrooms.
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Oh.
And
I know now.
And I have a nice Yamaha piano.
Oh, now we're talking.
Okay.
And I have
let us think about that.
A wonderful audience of wild deer. The minute you start playing the piano or singing, they come out. Right.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love you dearly.
We love you too.
And thank you so much for having me. It means a lot. It means the world.
Mwah.
Bye, Miss Sheila Jordan. Mwah.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Love you too.
Bye.